Good morning, KTOL Meteorologist Chris Ramirez here. We are tracking the heavy rain that is falling north of the city of Houston. There is a very slow progression of southward movement of these storms as we head into the next maybe couple of hours. Right now, we're seeing lots of rain that really has not let up across northern Harris County. This does include the Spring area, even Roman Forest, south of Conroe, even Magnolia, dealing with some very gusty winds as well as that dangerous lightning. So if you are traveling along I-45 north towards Spring, really not a good idea at the current moment because that heavy rain is just slowly moving southward, about to hit Bush Airport momentarily, and this is very slow moving. We are expecting this to linger around at least for the next hour or two, but the National Weather Service is issuing that flash flood warning that is in effect for portions of Harris County. This does include portions of the Grand Parkway to the northeast of the city of Houston. So everywhere is from Roman Forest, Spring, east, or actually, east of Spring is dealing with that flash flood warning, so we could start seeing the ponding on roadways in northern Harris County, especially along I-45, along I-69, and now even Tomball, Cypress, as well as Spring, now dealing with the heavier rain activity as these storms are very slowly pushing southward. So conditions across Houston right now are fairly quiet. Here's looking at the center of town, but just keep in mind that if you have any business going, it's north of town, you will run into some very heavy rain stretching north along I-45, even 290, as these storms are slowly moving southward. These are the same storms that were responsible for the flooding that's ongoing north of town. We are definitely still tracking more of that storm activity that is falling along I-45, along Huntsville, even Midway. There is lots of flash flood warnings in effect, all thanks to the torrential rain that we have received for the past several hours. So looking at that slowly progression of those storms. So radar and gauge indicated that we are very well starting to see flood concerns moving into northern Harris County. The good news is that the National Weather Service has allowed those severe thunderstorm warnings to expire that were in place for portions of Liberty, even towards the east of our area, but you're still dealing with lots of lightning with these storms, even just south of Cleveland, even in and around Kingwood. You're dealing with this heavy torrential rain that could start contributing to that flooding threat north of the city of Houston, even in northern Harris County. So Spring, the Woodlands, Pinehurst, Tomball, even Magnolia, dealing with this heavy rain that has been in place for the past 30 minutes to 45 minutes. These are the very slow moving storms, and when you have slow moving storms, we usually start seeing that flood threat starting to increase across the area. So keep that in mind if you do have to travel north of the city of Houston. We very well could start seeing these storms moving southward. They very well likely to start moving south towards the North Beltway 8, as well as for portions of around the Greens Point area, but right now we're starting to see that heavy rainfall now approaching Bush Airport. That's going to probably cause some concerns with some flights as we head into the next 30 to 45 minutes. So North Houston, very heavy rain, lots of lightning with these storms. We're dealing with some gusts with the storms that we're moving on through. We received a video in and around Magnolia that we're definitely seeing some sideways rain with these storms. We're going to go ahead and look at wind speeds as we go into the next few hours. Right now, wind concerns not too significant at the current moment. We're definitely dealing with some winds probably around maybe 25, 30 miles an hour with the storms that are moving through, which is the reason why the National Weather Service is not issuing severe thunderstorm warnings with the storms that are moving into northern Harris County. But just keep in mind that even though that we're not seeing the storm becoming those gusty winds anymore, we're definitely going to be starting to see that flooding threat move southward into northern Harris County as we head into the next 30 to 40 minutes. So there is a flash flood warning that is in effect for portions of Harris, Liberty, Montgomery, and San Jacinto counties. That is until 10:30 a.m. Thursday. This is affecting a good 25,000 people across the area. So areas along I-69 north of Kingwood, likely to be dealing with some flooding right now. So not really a good idea to head north of the city of Houston within the next possibly 2 hours, as these storms are very slow moving. And even though you see the flash flood warning in effect for portions of Harris County, but we very well could start seeing that flood warning start increasing for moving southward as we head into the next few hours. So looking at what we've seen since midnight. This is a look at the rain totals. This is radar estimated rainfall totals. We've seen up to 9.1 inches of rain, even 7.7 inches of rain, 8.3, 7.2. This is north of Willis in and around Huntsville, Walker County. And just keep in mind that we very well could start seeing all that water that's been falling in that location move southward along those streams and rivers as we go into the next few hours. So looking north of the city right now, Spring, Aldine, even along 69, about close to 2 inches, 2.5 inches northeast of Liberty. That's really not good news to all of the rivers that are already dealing with flood stages across the area. So right now, as we look at our live flood gauges, we're still seeing good reports for portions of northern Harris County. But as you see right here, you're able to see that very heavy rain already falling in northern Harris County, and that's very well, we're going to start seeing that flood concerns start increasing as we head into the next few, maybe 2 to 3 hours. So the East Fork at the San Jacinto River at New Caney observed at 65.28 feet. It's expected to crest at 70.07 feet, as well as the Trinity River. They were already dealing with some very major flooding that for the past 2 days, and this rain has not let up in and around Liberty along the Trinity River, as it's expected to crest at 31.2 feet. That is major flood stage across for portions of the Trinity River, as all of that rain that was southward, that rain has to go somewhere. It's going to start moving southward as it drains into closer towards Galveston Bay in the next possibly maybe the next 2 or 3 hours. So as we look at our future cast and what we're expecting to see within the next several hours, we are expecting this slowly progression of these storms move southward into northern Harris County like we're seeing right now. But we could also see some of these downpours make it into the city of Houston as we get closer towards around the 9 o'clock hour, even towards 10 a.m. We could start looking at this rainfall starting to move into the city, at least in the next 2 hours. The problem with this is that this was very slow moving. If you have a lot of rain in a little amount of time, that really is going to contribute to flooding on roadways across the area. As we look at our future cast, we are expecting this to lighten up later on this evening, but weather models are indicating that we're going to see several disturbances that are going to be moving through. So we are very well likely to be dealing with another round of possible strong storms for Friday morning as well as into the weekend. So this is bad news for folks to the north of Houston that we're dealing with these torrential rain and flooding. They've had a long night last night in terms of this weather situation, and just keep in mind also that the National Weather Service is going to continue that flood watch for southeast Texas until at least Friday afternoon. So we're going to still continue to see the impacts of these storms even if we do get a break from this rain. But it's just really not looking likely that we're going to see this let up anytime soon. But right now, like I said, we were definitely seeing calm conditions in the center of the city of Houston and downtown Houston. And we've started off mostly quiet, but just keep in mind that we're starting to slowly start seeing the southward progression of these storms within the next possibly 30 to 40 minutes. And they are very well likely to start making its way into the northern beltway as we go into possibly maybe an hour or two. And that's going to start contributing to some flood concerns around our area roadways north of town. This does include I-45. They have issued that flash flood warning for portions of Harris County. This is directly to the east of 45, east of the Woodlands. So just keep in mind that those area streams and waterways are really not, the rain's not letting up as you're able to see all of those lightning strikes. So very dangerous lightning with these storms. We have numerous lightning strikes with the storms that are north of the town, north of Houston. And just keep in mind, you might want to check your flight delays, possible delays, as that heavy rainfall is now about to hit Bush Airport. So definitely something to keep an eye on as we head into the next few hours. We're dealing with this aerial flood advisory that has been in effect for our coastal areas as well. But we are expecting mostly calm conditions for our coastal areas. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and loop this within the past hour or two, and we're just able to see the slowly progression of the southward movement of these storms now making it to northern Harris County. So if you are traveling north along 45, any highway that goes north and south, going north of the city, and definitely really not a good idea, as we're going to see that blinding rain on those area roadways and those freeways going into the next hour or two. Lots of thunder, lots of lightning. Right now, the good news is that the wind speeds are not too much of a concern right now. It's just the flooding threat that we're really going to have to keep an eye on for northern Harris County as we head into the next hour or two. So looking at possible hail, the hail that we've been seeing right now, we're not seeing any hail. Might even see some pea-sized hail with some of these storms, but these storms are just dumping a lot of rain. You're able to see those little signatures just north of the Beltway, south of 99, even near Eastgate. So we're not dealing with large hail with these storms. It's just that heavy rainfall that is going to be continuing at least for the next hour or two for northern Harris County. And it's a good indication that we very well could start seeing some of this rain move southward into the city of Houston, even in through the inside the North Beltway as we head into the next maybe 45 minutes to an hour. So if you are in Houston, keep an eye on what's happening north of town. We could start seeing the slowly southward progression. And as always, we are definitely tracking these storms all day here at KHOU 11. And you can always stay up to date with the latest weather on KHOU.com as well as on the KHOU 11 weather app.